Would be bad if you could. All right, so we're going to talk about the Blackwings today, specifically the Blackwing Volumes special edition. So if y'all have any Blackwing questions, let me know. I'm going to make some mistakes on the lead grades on these. I'm almost certain. Ooh, yeah. JVK, we're all coming with you. We're gonna go hang out with JVK when we're done with the stream. Everyone, get your passports ready. So one of the things was when I was researching these, going back, trying to figure out the specifics of the lead grades in here, because they started off in a decent pattern where they were going medium, firm, soft, I think. So this is medium, so this would be the black, the standard black core, I believe, which Johnny Gamber of Pensolution coined the MMX. So this was the first Volumes release, and luckily I had gotten into pencils kind of right before Blackwing did their Volumes. As you can see, I carry a 602 pretty frequently. So like like you can see, like I have my own orange eraser that's rubbed down. The I don't know, it gets kind of beat and mangled. So like I started carrying this pencil a little bit before the Volumes edition released, and I was already in the habit of being a stationary subscriber to different things. So the Blackwing, I wasn't sure I was going to use a dozen pencils. I still don't use a dozen pencils, but every month, but they have been a fun thing to support. So like this first edition, I was like, when I saw this compared to their regular editions, I was like, they're not going to do any better than this. How cool is this? So this was who was this? This was the Newport Folk Festival. So this is the Blackwing 725. So it was the concert that changed rock and roll. Blackwing as a company, Charles Barrelsheimer is really into music and support musical causes. So when they came out, I was immediately smitten. I mean, just that gradient, like a Fender Stratocaster color on the pencil. I was like, well, we're done. Like, this is the best pencil they could ever make, right? And then I've said that about, I don't know, probably half of the editions so far after that. So this was kind of my first foray into the pencil world of subscription pencil world. And I've been a subscriber since day one, and I'm glad that I have, because I really, really enjoy using these pencils. I don't know that it's going to benefit me to show you how they write, because you're not going to be able to tell much difference even from the softest to the firmest. There's really not much differentiation in these. As far as like you could tell on a video, you can tell when you're writing with them for sure. Like this is a nice soft dark medium grade lead, and I should say graphite, but it's just too easy to say lead. So they went from that right into what's turned out to be the single most popular edition, is the Blackwing 211. So ever since they started making these pencils, everyone wanted to make them natural wood, and this is the John Muir edition. Yeah, their eraser designs with this flat smashed ferrule is just a classic Blackwing design that they've carried on through various generations of the company, various ownerships. The design has always been the same. The erasers are not great though, but they look cool, so I kind of give them a little bit of a pass because I do like the style, and I like that I can change colors of them. So like the John Muir pencil came in a brown eraser to, kind of go with the aesthetic of the pencil. And we'll see as we go through more of these that they do kind of play around with the erasers a little bit. But now as I'm looking through all of the pencils I have laid out here, they had quite a run of black erasers there, which is kind of lame. So this one they did with the 602 core, which is my favorite. It's was the firmest at the time core. It has the most point retention while still keeping a very dark line. And you're not going to be, I'll see if we can tell the difference here just in these. So once I get to the third one, we'll do that and see. And that's before they started in with the extra fines, which we'll get to there. So I had Tony look these up. The aftermarket prices on these on eBay right now is upper $200s for a dozen of these pencils. So if you're sitting on these not using them, you have a gold mine on your hands. So what's that divided by 12? This is like a I don't know, $15-$20 pencil, just sitting here in my hand. I could chew on it and see, but it's like I don't get it. Like, I mean, I should sell some of mine just because that price is crazy. Like, I'll use them. I don't really care. I don't, or give them away. But yeah, thank you. I'm not a math major here. So yeah, this is a $23 pencil by current eBay prices. So that's pretty crazy. It is one of the best. It is not my number one favorite. We'll go through my favorites as we get down to it. So the third one they released, I thought was kind of the coolest one at the time, but it has my least favorite core. This has the soft core. What did they call this one? This is the 1138. This is a trip to the moon. So this is where they kind of stretched their legs a little bit, spread their wings. And what they did was they compressed a movie file. What is a 13-minute? It was that silent movie where the rocket crashes into the moon. You can go see all these on blackwing602.com, see all the information. But that's literally like the entire movie, like compressed, like each scene compressed like in a vertical manner. I thought this was the neatest design of the first three when it came out, but I used it the least because it was the softest lead. So this is the pearl core. So out of the first three, they did their first three cores. So the medium, which is the Blackwing, the firm, which is the 602, and then the soft, which is the pearl. So that was all the cores they had at the time of release. So let me see if you can even tell a difference here on the camera. I'm kind of thinking you can't. This is mostly a feel thing. So this is medium, and this is firm. Like, I can absolutely tell, when writing with them. But as far as the color, ooh, that's totally shaking the camera. Sorry, guys. That's firm, and then we have soft. And you can't really tell much in the color when I show it to you, but you would be able to tell. Yeah, medium is the balance, so that's the black standard. You can tell the firms may be a little bit lighter. The darkness of the medium and the soft are really similar. You can just feel it in the core itself. But yes, when they refer to medium, that is the black barrel stock Blackwing. And then soft is the pearl, and then firm is the 602. So then they launched those three, and then this came out. So this is the Steinbeck extra firm core. This is probably, I don't know if it was hotter at the time than the 211, but I think it probably was. So this was the first time they introduced a new core. So it's firmer than the 602, and this became a lot of people's favorite. They had some partnership with the Steinbeck family in designing this. So black ferrule, black eraser, all black. Even the Palomino branding, you can barely see it there, stamped in black. And then they took an extra firm core on here, which, it's firmer than the 602. It's still about the same darkness. And what I like about this one and the 602 is, and really even the softest Blackwings, they have better, every core that they have has better point retention than most other pencils. I don't know how they make them. They do a really good job with them. So it's kind of pointless to continue to show you like all the colors of all the graphite colors and grades. Those are the 4 grades. There's some feel difference. There's some slight darkness difference. But when you have their extra firm core, it's still a pretty mid-grade feeling. It's not firm and light like you would think of like a 4H graded pencil or something like that. So it's still got darkness, just has a little bit more firmness than the 602, a little bit more point retention. you could write, I've written with the 602 more than the extra firm, and I can get like a whole page in an A5 size without even considering sharpening the pencil, which there's not a lot of pencils you can say that about. So I actually tend to use them more, the 602 core, than the extra firm, just because more of the pencils that I like use the 602. Like the next one, which is my favorite one. So this is number one. We'll do a ranking at the end, but the Blackwing 56. So it's the baseball one. Of course, I'm going to love it, even though it's the Yankees. Tony, I'm sure, extra loves it because it's the Yankees. But I just love the pinstripe design, the throwback to baseball, the significance of the 56 game hitting streak. That's a record that may not ever be broken. When Blackwing announced their volumes, when their first promo video came out and said they're going to have this weird numbering system that's not going to be like 1, 2, 3, 4, they're just going to pick random numbers that are meaningful to them. Jackie Robinson was in the video. I remember that distinctly. I was like, oh, sweet, there's going to be a number 42 pencil. And then this one came out. It was a huge surprise. Like, I didn't see this coming at all. I thought we'd get like a Dodger Blue number 42 for sure. But this DiMaggio pencil came out and really, they killed it on this one. This is my favorite because it has my favorite core in it and it's baseball themed. If this had the soft core, it wouldn't be my favorite, but I use it as much as any. So it's really good. Yeah. So this next one that came out ended up being an extremely popular one, even though I'm not sure in the very beginning, like the minute it launched, it wasn't. So this was Dorothea Lange, the photographer. So people were a little bit confused at first, like about this color and what it all meant. But what Blackwing does is they do some really good storytelling and some good education. So like I learned about her and her work. Like you didn't recognize the name. If you, like me, I didn't recognize the name at first, but she has this picture called Migrant Mother that if you saw this picture, you'd go, oh, I've seen that picture in my lifetime. That's who this is. And so one of the other things that they did with this is they gave this little camera build up, like this little paper camera thing that you build, kind of like the new Field Notes did with the rockets. This one had some camera like add-ons with it. And this was the first female pencil that they did, and they'd started to get some, Blackwing at the time started to get some grief about how they were handling the production, being diverse and what pencils and who they chose and what things they chose. So this was the first female featured on a pencil, and this ended up being one of the best ones. What core is this one? I want to say this is a 602 core. Yeah, that's the thing, is they don't say. It's really kind of hard to. Yeah, this is the firm, so it's the 602. So they did back-to-back 602s. Was the 56? Now that I say that about the 56, I'm wondering, was it the medium? So I gotta check that. Sorry. So these are really good. Yeah, so firm. So back-to-back 602 cores. That's their most popular core, I think. But then these went back to back. So this one ended up being a really, really popular one because it grew on me, like the color scheme. I was like, the color scheme at first, I was like, no, I'm not sure. But I ended up liking it a lot. The next one is the 530. And this was the first one where I went, I felt like super regular about this. No, the 24 is not. Oh, Tony, I'm sorry. I was only half reading. The Palomino 530 was one of the most regular pencils that they've done. It's pretty, it's nice. The story is the gold rush, the California gold rush. What was 530? Sutter's Mill, California, historical location number 530. So it's part of the gold rush. It's really pretty. It reminds me of the Purdue Boilermakers. So I need Jacqueline in here to say, go Boilermakers or something. But it's a really average release in a line of really great releases. But like we've learned with other subscription services, you can't knock it out of the park 100% of the time. Like, we're happy, like when we talk about Field Notes, so you get 4 releases of a year, you expect 1 extraordinary, 2 really good, and then one you may not like at all. And that's kind of where this one fell in. They'd been on a good run, and there's nothing wrong with this pencil, but it was just kind of, I've never really used it, never latched onto it, and I think this has the medium core. Nope, this is extra firm, so I'm surprised I don't use this one more because it is extra firm. Maybe that'll make me try it out some more, but it just doesn't do it for me. So before I get to the next one, I need a drink. Hey Sam Jean, glad you made it. So this next one was the most controversial release. It is, if the 530 is not one of my favorites, that last one I just showed you, this one's twice as bad. I hate this release. This was my least favorite. What do they call this? This is the 205. This was the Silk Road pencil. And what I hated about these was they're wrapped. Where a lot of these pens were either natural finished or painted finish. You won't be able to see on this stream, but on the pencil, and this is really not gonna be able to see, there's basically a line down, like it was, wrapped. So, I mean, technically it came out okay, but I just find the pattern to be ugly, and I can't unsee the line edge. It just seemed like a real kind of a letdown from some of the other releases they had already done, and especially after the 530. I think the 530 was a decently popular release, just not for me. This one I never used. Like, I tried every pencil that they've released so far except this one. I just threw this in the closet and never sharpened them. This is the first time I sharpened it, was when I was going to do a review of all these pencils. So I actually took a fresh pencil out of all the boxes to review these. I've got other ones that I've used parts of, but these are all fresh and long and still pretty new. It's because I wanted to get them all the same length and like the same amount of destruction. But disappointing release, unnecessary design. There's no redeeming values about this release in my book. And what core was this? This is firm, so this is 602. So not even that would get me to use these pencils. I just don't like them one bit. If I'm going to get a marbled pen, I'm going to get one of the Nataraj ones. So I'll bring those out one day. So they, after that release, they redeemed themselves pretty quickly. I felt that was like two kind of poor releases in a row. This is just personal perspective. Everyone's opinions will change. They came back and nailed it with the Tahoe. This was one of the coolest releases they've done. This is called the 73. And what is that? Is that a depth marker? The number 73 references Lake Tahoe's last measured Secchi depth of 73 feet. So I don't know what the Secchi measurement is. It's a unit to measure clarity. So 73 feet of clarity down. That's pretty impressive. But this one, they did a textured, like a topographic texture on the pencil. And even though this one had the soft core, I'm almost certain had the soft core. As I check this. Yep, soft. I use this a lot just because it was so cool to pick up. It had a tactile feel to it. It felt really, really neat and interesting. I really like the white eraser, like this royal blue and white really pops. And then you can see the textures on there pretty well. Those are raised. So all this texturing you see. Yeah, and silver ferrule, which, is that the first one? No, the third one had one, but yeah. Silver is always better than gold in my book, but I'll lose that fight most of the times with pencils. So beautiful, beautiful, stunning work with this one. This was a wow. Like when you open the box and touch it and feel it, it's a wow, even though it's the soft graphite core. This next one, I'm still unsure about. Yeah, I could see that, Tony, because of the core. I want to like volume 1, which is this one, more than I do. So this is volume 1. It's the first round barrel, so it's not hex. It's just smooth barrel all the way around. And this was the Guy Clark edition. Kind of, I I mean, for number one, I don't know. I don't know if that was the right thing, but it doesn't matter. I'm still more concerned with how it looks. And I like it. I like the gray. I like the silver. I like the charcoal gray. Eraser. I think Johnny called this the flannel pencil. Like, it reminds me of the look and feel of what you would think about with flannel. Like, it's comfortable. It's got that color. What core was this one? This is the balance core, so this is the black. This is the black Blackwing. So the medium core, I want to love this pencil, but I don't. I end up picking up other ones before picking up this one. I don't know if it's the roundness or the smoothness of the barrel. The aesthetics pleasing, the feel is good. This one confuses me personally. It's like this one and the Dorothea Lange. Both of these, like, I should like these more. I should use these more than I do because I like how they look, and I end up not using them. Yeah, this was Guy Clark, the musician. So I don't know what it is or why I don't gravitate to those two more than I do. And then the switch flipped. Like, that was a good release. Those last two releases were good. And then this next release has been a personal favorite of mine. This is the Blackwing Volumes 16.2, the Ada Lovelace edition. And it has a white barrel that it got really dark in here, and I don't have real good lighting. So this barrel came out, looks really crazy bright. It's a matte satiny white finish, black ferrule, right eraser, very stormtroopery, silver imprint. And this is, of course, Ada Lovelace is the mathematician. Let's see what this is, the firm core. So it's the 602 core with this aesthetic. This one is me. Like, out of all the editions, it's been a long time since I bought an extra dozen. This one I bought an extra dozen of because I liked it that much. Plus, I wanted to give these to my kids so they could learn about Ada Lovelace and use them at school. So, yeah, I just looked, and it's the firm. Yep, firm. So it's the 602 core, and it's got some special imprints on the back here. I adore this edition. It's not as flashy as some of the other ones, and maybe that's why I like it so much, but it's just an all-around great pencil. They may have topped it with the 54. This was, I was going to say it's the first non-person edition, but that's not true. I guess the Jade and Silk Road wasn't a person edition, but this was an art movement edition. This is the surrealist, exquisite corpse. Is that what the word is for the way of determining the colors that go together? So they, played a game to this exquisite corpse way of brainstorming ideas and came up with this color, with the barrel color, stamping color, ferrule color, and eraser color, and it came out so good. I really like this one a lot. I still like the Ada Lovelace better, but I've been using this one a lot. Did this one have firm core too? No, this is extra firm. So yeah, maybe that's why I like it so much, but I've been using this one a bunch recently. This is between the Ada Lovelace and this one. These are the ones I've been using the most. Besides like my regular 602. So when I'm at my desk, I'm usually have one of the Ada Lovelaces laying around, then I've had this one laying around a while. The colors came out great in their experimentation with colors, and they did a good job with this one. So the most recent one, it goes into the confusing pile for me, just in a feel perspective. This is the 10,000 and 10,001 edition for I have to pull up his name, so I don't remember it. This is Tetsu Miyamoto. This is the Ken puzzle inventor, which they sent the puzzle over to us. It is like a red cedary finish. It almost looks rosy pink, but it's like a real red cedar kind of lacquer. Gold ferrule, black eraser. The difference with this one is it's a Pentagonal barrel. It's a 5-sided barrel. I don't know if you'll be able to see that. And in the picture as well, but it's a 5-sided barrel instead of a standard 6-sided barrel. So I kept wondering, like, is this going to feel different when I grip it? And if I don't think about it, it really doesn't. Like, my earlier comments on how I feel writing with it are probably a little bit overblown, because if you don't think about it, you don't notice it. It's still got that hex feel. They're a little wider. You know, I hold my writing instruments very traditionally, so, you know, like, I don't feel it on the top, but sometimes I might feel it in the bottom. It's really no difference. What core did this one have? So this is the 602 core, so this is the firm core. It's a beautiful pencil. I just don't know that I'll use it as much as the 54 or the 16.2. So you can see where my favorites lie. And you can see in Blackwing's releases, they use firm and extra firm. I think probably comprise half of these releases, or if not more. I'll have to go back and count which, but so we have 2 soft ones, a few medium ones, and everything else is firm or extra firm. So it's really neat. Blackwing's done a good job with these. So there's been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 releases. So we're well into 3 years on Blackwing's Volumes. I'm a very happy subscriber. I'm gonna make a lot of noise here. I forgot one. I didn't forget one. What did I forget? So I'm gonna make some noise here and pick all these up. Sorry, hopefully that's not too... Oh, did I forget the special edition one? The members only one? I didn't bring that one. So I think Blackwing needs some more. Yeah, the Cal Cedar one. Yeah, that's the special edition. So hopefully in the next few releases, we're going to see some brighter erasers, because we have, what do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We'll count the gray one. 10 blackish, 1 brown, 2 blue, 2 white. So let's start seeing some reds and yellows and orange erasers soon. Who knows what they're going to do next? I have spare erasers that are red, yellow, green, blue, white, pink. They haven't done a pink eraser yet. That kind of surprises me. A traditional pink eraser. And I'm sure I'm missing a couple colors. They have maybe 6 or 8 colors besides black and white. I think they sell the brown one. Brown one might be a separate one. So we have a good mix of ferrule styles. So let's see if I can spread these out here. Majority gold, but we got a couple silver. We got 1 red, 2 black. So that's kind of cool. So it's a good mix there in ferrule colors. I do like the 503 is the only one with the striped ferrule. I do like that. That look is pretty cool. So, you know, what do I want from them in the future? Like I said, maybe color erasers. These last 2 of the last 3 editions have been some of my favorites, period. So I don't really have much to ask for. So let's do a ranking here. So I think number 1 is easy. After that, it gets harder. I don't know. I've bought Jim. I bought JM Thies. I bought old ones and new ones. So I'll have to unmix them up to see if I can tell what's what. So I have an old batch and a new batch from different colors. All right, number 1 for me is 56. It's the baseball edition. It's Joe DiMaggio. Even though I'm not a Yankees fan, I appreciate the Yankees. I appreciate Joe DiMaggio. I love the pinstripe look. On the one I use at home, I have a red eraser in mind. Tim Wassum from Erasable Podcast calls it the Cubs edition, and I call it the Braves edition. You know, anything red, white, and blue, we can make it in our own team now. Do they make a... Oh, yeah, they do need to make a regular edition. That's the extra firm core. I'm surprised they haven't done that yet. So, number 1 for me, yes, so they use extra fine in the volumes. So they've done it twice or 3 times. I'll have to go back and look. The 24, the 503, and was it the 54? So they've done it 3 extra firm cores. All right, so 56 is my favorite. Now we get into trouble because I need a drink. Picking out my second favorites. I think there's, like, my top five's good. It's just that the next four all run together. So the next four are the 211, the 24, the 54, and the 16.2. I think 54 is fifth. So that's number 5. What's number 2 out of this batch? I'll tell you, I use Ada Lovelace more than any. So Ada Lovelace is number 2, 211 is number 3, and then 24 is number 4. I'm actually like the natural more than the all black. So that's my top 5 Blackwing Volumes pencils. Number 1, the 56, baseball. It's baseball day. Happy baseball day. Number 2, Ada Lovelace, 16.2 edition. Number 3, 211, the classic, famous, most wanted edition. The 24, the first extra firm core, which caused a riot in a positive way. Blackwing did a good job with this, so that's my 4th favorite. The number 5 is the 54, just because it's awesome looking. Maybe the best looking, I don't know. Maybe, one of the most interesting stories I find. And since I'm a generous and benevolent dictator, we're going to talk about the worst. And I think it's pretty easy. Like, there's really only one worst out of all these. And I don't think I'm going to get much argument out of Blackwing Volumes fans. The Silk Road edition, the 205, it's pretty much useless. Maybe these are the ones I need to give them to my kids for school next year. So least favorite by far. And then everything else is kind of various degrees of coolness. So, I like everything else. So that leaves the original, which, how can you not like that sunburst pattern? The man on the moon. This is like one of the first stories that I really thought, no, that's kind of cool how they integrated in that pencil. 530 is pretty boring. That kind of goes over there with the Silk Road pile. Then, like, these are kind of like the perfect match for each other. These are the ones that are hit or miss, that, I probably should use more, probably should like more, but they either have a soft core or an aesthetic that I don't like as much, or a feel that I don't like as much, but they've all been really, really popular. Especially what was her number called? Dorothy Lang, 344. That one's been really, really, really nice. Tahoe's been really nice. The 10,001 has been new. And then the number 1, these are all kind of your mid-range group. So overall, you can still get volume 1 on the Blackwing site. Kind of doesn't surprise me. I don't know. I wish it would have done better. I can't figure it out. Like I said, sometimes I get products and I just stare at it like I should like this, or I should love this, but I only like it. So I end up, when you have this pencil or one of these, my choice is made for me, right? So, but everyone will find their own individual pencil out of all these. I have 5 favorites here. This is very likely none of these would be in other people's top 5. I say that, I can guarantee you the 211 will be in their top 5. 211 will be in everyone's top 5. After that, it's a crapshoot. No one may like any of these as much as I do, but that's why we like doing this so much, right? So it's fun to find stationery that fits your style and your aesthetic, that works really well, that works better than other things on the market. Like, Blackwing pencils are just better than other pencils. You pay for that privilege. at $2 a pencil, but they're worth it in my book. So that's all I have to say on the Blackwings. The 211, I think the story of it, and it was the third edition or second edition? It was the second edition, so they probably didn't have the quantities that they have made in future releases. They don't list the quantity information, the numbers, at least not to my knowledge. So this was the second edition, and I think it was just so popular, and they probably didn't make near as many as they make now. So, and it had the 602 core. Everyone wanted a natural Blackwing that was a Blackwing fan, and they never had a natural finish Blackwing. So that was why this one became so popular. I think it was just hard to get. They didn't make a bunch. And yeah, that's kind of it. It was the second one they did. Have I used the notebook? So I actually have the, they call this one the Pearl Slate. So I have this one that I've been using today. It's okay with fountain pens. It's not the best. So I did a fountain pen review in here to see how it would go, and it did pretty well. Like, it's a non-coated paper, so that's good. You don't want that for pencils, which I'm assuming that's their original thought. I know you can't see this really well on here, but you can look at the Y Studio Brassing fountain pen desk pen that I reviewed. I did this with a green Sailor ink, the what's that ink called? Epinard. And there was like no bleed through on the back whatsoever. Like it did pretty good. So it was a good call. But I've been using it, as you can see, I've been using it more for pencil stuff, colored pencils and things. They're really nice. One thing I like about it is it's a firm cover, but it's a little bit flexible. It's soft. It's really nice to hold. So I like these notebooks a lot. I don't use them as much as some of my other notebooks just because it's a big size. This is the only one I have. It's a really large size, whatever size this is. It's like 7x10 or something like that. I don't even know. 8x10. But yeah, I give them thumbs up. So they have the black covers and the white covers like this. They're very soft, very pliable, and cool. Yeah, good stickers. I have one on the back, a couple on the back. This is a good stickering notebook. I have all these stickers. I need to put more on there. All right, so Blackwing's game is kind of like field notes, to where everyone tries to guess what the next edition is, and these are impossible to guess. But like I said on the podcast, they did stop releasing them early to retailers because the 54 got out. And I thought that was funny. The hardcover notebooks had some bleed and feathering and some weird gluing issues. Yeah, I don't think I've tried the hardcover. Yeah, I don't think I've had one or reviewed one, and I don't think we've gotten one from them. They did send me this one. I may have ordered this one. I can't remember. But I'm kind of a fan of the soft cover thing that they got going on with these. So, and they're awesome, as you can imagine, for pencils and any other pens that you use. They're really good. Kind of Leuchtturm-y feeling in notebooks. I love Leuchtturm. They do real well with fountain pens, and you're not going to get the sheen you're going to get in a lot of other notebooks, but it's just a good writing experience notebook. All right. So what other questions y'all have before y'all go cook out and shoot fireworks or party on the 4th, at least here in the States? You got any other questions for me? And I'm going to watch the Braves. I'm going to stream some video games here after lunch. At some point, I probably need to eat. Any advice? Probably get in the Pen Addict Slack room, and I know there's a bunch of people that trade stuff in there, like portions of boxes. Like if you just want one pencil or you want 3 or 5 pencils, there's always trading going on in the Pen Addict Slack room. Yeah, and the Raceable Facebook group, that'd be the first place to go. That's a real good option. And just get in contact with some of those people to see, and I'd be happy to send you some as well. I need to put together a sampler pack to bring to Mike. I keep saying I'm going to send him all these pencils, and I'm going to see him, and I don't even have pencils packed. Maybe I should just give him this kit. That's not a bad idea. I have more of these at home. Maybe I'll do that. What do you think? Should I give this whole 14 pack to Mike? I already have them in a case and everything. Not Coach Chimney Top. Hashtag sellout. You should send something to Mike Madison. Does he not like pencils? He's a no pencil guy. Yeah, so we're I'm leaving tomorrow night. So there's a group of people that were like the before wedding travelers and then leave after. We're like where our free time is after the wedding. So there's a bunch of people over there now. So we'll have overlap this weekend. And so a bunch of people are doing their thing now, and then a bunch of people are gonna stay after as well. So, oh, he hates pencils. Okay, I'll send Mike Madison some pencils too. So yeah, I think I'll give this to Mike. What do you think? Not a bad idea. Already packed up. We'll see if they make the travels. Although I don't know that I have a good time to give it to him. Like, and you don't want to give him this stuff at the wedding. I'm not gonna see him really. Like, I'm only gonna see Mike at the wedding. Like, he's a little bit busy to deal with me. Yeah. But although he's got I don't know. I gotta think about that. Like, I don't want to burden him on his day. Probably the only day I'll see him will be a little bit preoccupied than me giving him a pack of pencils. Although he's giving me orange cartridges, apparently. I need to bring Alami Safari. Ooh, sorry, I'm shaking the camera again. So, that's true. Yeah, I can bring it and mail it while I'm there. Or if they have a box, I can put that in. I can do that as well. TJ, are you off today? Are you going to be doing any streaming? Thinking about streaming the show after lunch here for a couple hours before I head home and finish packing. So I want to get to some stationery stores in London. I'm not sure I'm going to have time. President Correct is, really, really good. Yeah, no tainted orange cartridges. I hope the other 10 he ordered come in and I can give some away. Cool. I might see you tonight, TJ. I'll be around. One of these days we'll get on the right schedule. Maybe we can, you can come and trash me like rookie level grinding. Yeah, that's a really good question. So I'll pack this, and God, if I don't drop it off, that means I got to carry it all day. The way the wedding stuff goes is we're essentially going to be gone all day. The way this is set up, which is awesome. They're like taking care of us big time. But I don't have. I'm not going to be carrying much. My wife's already like, can you carry my makeup? Because we're going to be gone all day. I'm like, yeah, I got you. I'll carry your makeup. So I don't know if I'm have room for a bag of pencils, but mailing them while I'm there is a genius move. That's a genius move. Hashtag wedding present. He already got his wedding present from me. But I should get the wedding present to play at the wedding because they're one of my favorite bands ever. If any of you in here know the wedding present, you're my friend for life. One of the greatest bands of all time. Live and direct. So, they were always hard to search online. The wedding present. It's like X, the band X, if you're familiar with them. Really, really good band back in the 80s. Well, they chose their name, which was really good at the time before the internet existed. Well, now you have to search for X the band, and I think their URL is like X the band. You don't know these things before the internet. Oh, nice. Yeah, John Doe and Exene Cervenka. Wonderful band. Really, really good. John Doe's been put out some solo albums that have been good too. So, if I could play music on the stream without getting muted, I would do it. But like I tried that, like the first 2 or 3 stream, just like chat streams like this, and then I saw one of them get muted, so I'm not even gonna bother doing it anymore. So that stinks. TJ gave me some links to some non-copyright music just to have background music. I like the Pro Gear better than any other cheaper Sailors I like. I don't really like Sailor steel nibs. The Regulus is not bad. The Sailor Regulus steel nib is not bad. The Pro Gear Slims, you start getting into a small. Oh, nice wedding present mini. That was a good album. Good EP, I guess. I think it was like a 4 or 5 song EP. That's fantastic. So good. It just depends on if you like the size of the smaller Pro Gears. Like, I like the Slims. I prefer the standards. I don't like the LeCool The Regulus is decent. Actually, the Regulus is good. It's better than decent. But it's a steel barrel, steel nib. It writes really well. I reviewed it very, very positively. The LeCoults and anything in that range with the steel nibs, I don't like them as much. The nibs don't do as well to me. I just as soon save up for the one, even if it's a slim, which you can get in the low hundreds. And then the 1911 is fine too. They have the same size thing. They have the 1911 slim. Do they even call those the slim? Or the 1911 standard. So, the low end Sailor gets beat by Pilot in every price point by a lot. Like, I wouldn't even bother with the low end Sailor stuff. It's fine for playing around with. I like the High Ice Neo. That's their cheap disposable one. It nib writes really good, but it's like a super cheap plastic barrel. So, yeah, 1911 standard. And large. I don't know why they aren't consistent with those names. All right, gang. I think that's gonna wrap it for today's stationary stream. Today's fix, the Pen Addict fix. If you haven't followed me, hit the heart wherever it is. It's somewhere up here. Hit the heart, hit the follow. I'd appreciate it. And I'm gonna be back this afternoon playing some video games, probably baseball. It's a baseball kind of day, so I need to go practice. But I've been playing Destiny the most offline at home, so I need to grind that out too. I'm only here one more day and get some grinding in. So I'll catch y'all later. Thanks for hanging out and talking pins and